Listeners be advised. The Soliloquy podcast discuss matters related to the human experience and many that are sexual in nature. Due to this, some conversations may surround triggering topics such as sexual violence, self-harm, abuse, and much more. Please be advised, a list of crisis and psychological resources will be available in the show notes of this episode. With that said, let's get started with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please as we go through the following safety instructions.
In the event that there is a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen mask will drop from the overhead. Place the mask over your nose and mouth. Breathe normally as oxygen is flowing even if the mask is not inflated. Be sure to adjust your own mask before helping others.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Soliloquy podcast, where we step out and speak on sexuality. This is your favorite host, Vernon T. Scott, also known as Slaytor Jackson, and for you freaky motherfuckers out there, Sebastian Adams. It is the end of motherfucking Heauxvember, and we're going to end this shit with a bang, and we're going to talk about some celebrity crushes. We are going to be talking about motherfucking Pussy Valley on fleek, y'all. I don't care. Do we still say on fleek? I don't care. I said it. Fuck it.
We did today.
We said it today.
Yes.
So, y'all, I have Tyrell with me and I have Shane with me. How the fuck are y'all doing?
You know, we live in best life. Like we are about to go into a nice conversation because it's about to get absolutely wild.
Absolutely. We finna talk about how the girls get naked.
Yeah.
Be shaking that ass for them making, what would they say? Skrilla?
Yes, making for the Skrilla.
Making the straight Skrilla. I love it.
If you don't got your floss on, put that motherfucking floss on. Let's pause. Now put that fucking floss on. We are getting naked today, y'all. We getting naked down in Pussy Valley. Look, I'm going to take the role of Uncle Clifford tonight. Shane already compared me to him the other day, and I'm still cool with it.
I said in energy.
And as I said, I respect that because I agree. I love
Uncle Clifford. I love. He's like, I need the tea. Get out there and give me the tea. I'm like, I love you some Uncle Clifford. I absolutely adore that character. I'm like, yes, I love you.
Like, I need all his fucking rules so I could just like learn these.
Yes, I want this rule book.
I need him to make a book. I will buy the hell out of that. I'm like 57. Hold up.
I think the last one, if you can't make it to the water, bring the water to you. I think that was rule 1249. I don't know for sure, but it sounds about right.
I just need a book. I just need them to go ahead and publish us a book.
But I need this book. Yeah.
I would gladly go. I'm like, oh, it comes out when? Let me go ahead and get that pre-order in right now.
Ain't it?
Nope.
Well, let me find out.
If the producers and the writers, the marketing for P-Valley is watching, please go ahead and make us that book so we can calm the nerves of all the nigglets out here in these streets that need to know these books and these rules. That way we can go ahead and make this Skrilla.
Ain't it? Because you never know. We're going to have to make a window into a door.
Because we'll keep our legs closed and still get fed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, I
love that.
Like, so just so the audience knows, if you have not seen P-Valley by this point, that's your fault. You can stop this episode, watch all the way up until the end, and then come back.
Stars though, that's probably what's stopping them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry, fam. My stars.
But Stars is currently having a little promotion that is $4.99 for 4 months.
Yeah, and when it comes to shows that are like, for the culture, like you just gotta swallow your pride sometimes. Like,
I did.
Look, my stars is paid by my brother's phone company, so I'm okay. But for those who don't have that luxury, just spend a little Skrilla. It's okay. You pay for the content that you want. Nobody's saying that you have to be there all the time. Just be there on time. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And on time is right now. Go ahead and watch it and catch on up. There might be some spoilers in this conversation, but look, this episode is airing a couple months after we even recorded. So you got time, bitches. And if you didn't make the time, you make the time now. That's all I'm saying.
Pause this and go ahead and start watching and come back.
Mm-hmm. Now, do y'all have any crushes from the show? Since this is a celebrity crush themed episode, we have to start with the crushes first. But we're going into other stuff too. Do y'all have any crushes?
I like Mercedes because like her attitude, like I just love the way she carries herself.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, I love me a strong bitch. I know she wants to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm like, I approve. I love this.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Mercedes for me is one, but I've always loved Tyler Leslie Diamond. Just from the opposite end. I followed him from another show he was on, and just that whole dynamic. So I love the fact that the both of them have like that quiet confidence, that confidence about them, about their characters, that really just beautiful inside and out.
Like I have to say it's Mercedes. I love Mississippi, but I love Mississippi. Like she's a beautiful woman. I'm not even going to take that.
Yeah, she's very pretty.
I'm attached to her storyline versus I'm attached to her as a character. But like Mercedes is definitely my celebrity crush. Lil Murder, might as well go and say it. That's a celebrity crush.
He's precious.
Teak is a celebrity crush.
Big Bone, she's a very pretty woman too. Big Bone.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I
found her to be very beautiful. I'm like, I love her.
Very beautiful. Yeah. I love
Diamond's fine ass.
What's the name? The man who was killed. Oh, actually, what?
Oh, Big T.
Not Big T. Yes, he is a crush. But honestly, the entire cast, I love.
Are you talking about Rome?
Rome. Yeah. Rome will be a celebrity crush. He will be a crush if he just kept his mouth closed.
Exactly. I feel you on that one. And he kind of like, how like when you have your crushes and you be like, damn, like why they had to do that? Like, because the moment he did that with trying to do that with Keyshawn, I'm like, really, dude? Like, okay, you got to be taken down now. So I wasn't feeling bad that of course like he died, but it was like, damn, like why you had to do that?
Like, fuck him.
Yeah,
now, Wody also fine as fuck. Now, I've been having my own little like internal thing with Corbin, also played by Dan Johnson, but Corbin Kyle, that motherfucker since season 1, I'm just like, you, that motherfucker, I just want to see you naked, honestly. Like, and then that most recent episode, they show him naked, and I'm just like, okay, show the dick. Like, that's a fine nigga. Yes, Corbin, I fucks with you. I don't like your personality. You're another person. You just gotta stay quiet.
But can we also talk about like how some of like the episodes start with like just the sexiness on blast? The fact that Miss Patrice was on that post.
I love her so much. I love her so much.
And then we're right into a sermon.
I love that so much because that was such a black moment. Because I was like, I do not envision any person that's outside of the black community to do some shit like this, and I'm here for it all. Yeah, like when being around church circles, most definitely like Baptist circles, I will see some shit like that. I've come close to seeing some shit like that. So I'm like, that was home for me to see her on this damn pole, like stripping damn near, and then going into a fucking sermon. I'm like,
But but that's such a prevalent moment as is so much of this. Like it's like the sexy characteristic of so many of these characters. Like they just own who they are.
Yeah.
Like obviously they're going through their own struggles, their ups, their downs, whatever. But like a lot of these characters share that kind of similar aspect of they just own who they are. And definitely, and especially with Miss Patrice, like going through like this campaign and things like that. I'm like, that's how you run a campaign. You run a campaign from the nature of, yeah, I used to do this. Where you think my daughter get it from? And so it's like when you own your narrative, it can't be used against you.
Amen.
So yeah, I'm here for it.
Since we're talking about the campaigns, who the fuck are you going to vote for?
I'll do Andre because I don't like Patrice.
Interesting. I respect your choice.
I'm like, she did her daughter over so dirty and never apologized.
Yeah, I just
like that's the part that really pisses me off because she preaches forgiveness.
Right.
But I'm like, bitch, you never apologized to the person you hurt the most.
Right. Yeah, I think for storytelling wise, I think it would be interesting to have Andre in that aspect, just storytelling wise. Like, but I like the fact that it's come down to Andre and Patrice, because I could see it going either way, and I think either way would be interesting. But I think for just storyline purposes, because of the fact like Andre's also involved with Haley, and we know that Haley can be shady, so it's like that whole
can be.
Well, is you're right. Is like, let's put it out there.
I'm like, Haley, you need to calm it down, girl. This storm is a brewing over here. That's a lot of shade.
So yeah.
I would definitely vote for Patrice, and in the mindset of like someone who lives in Chucalissa, who's only exposed to the media that they saw. I will connect more with her in terms of, okay, what I saw on the news is her daughter beat her down. We don't get the backstory there. Then I get that they dug deep into her and they tried to slut shame her, and she owned that and was like, I'm me. I've grown for that. And now I'm just speaking up for the people, and I'm against this thing that's going to shut down businesses. So that will be the other thing that supports my vote for her. And then what she did with the poll, I'm like, bitch, yes. Like, I was not expecting that from a pastor. You did what needed to be done on that damn poll, even though, the moves could have been a little bit smoother, but you're an older person and you still did a great job. And I'm here for that. That's where Mercedes got her moves from. So she won my vote off of that. And I would think another aspect is when you think about the action of bringing the casino, because she recognizes that, oh, guess what? That's going to shut down a lot of the businesses in that area, which is one of the things that they don't talk about in the show, but they highlighted in one small episode. I think it was in season 1, or it might have been early season 2, when they were like, okay, the barbershops is going to be gone. Like, what are you going to do with that? Like, you got all these black businesses that you're about to build on top of just so you can bring in this white corporation. So in that aspect, I'm like, sis won the community.
Does she really though?
That's a good question.
Because my question is like, why the fuck is this godly woman being beat down by her daughter?
That's a good point.
Because I have to ask questions. Because sometimes, like, listen, we all know the life. I'm like, an ass whooping like that don't just fall from the sky.
Facts. Facts, because she was beating that fucking ass.
Maybe she got to prison, she continued it.
Like, oh my God.
When I saw the clip, I'm like, oh, damn. I knew they fought, but that was a beating.
Yeah.
Loki, we gotta talk about that jailhouse scene. I felt some type of way when all the women in the jail start going on Patrice's side, and they knew exactly what she did. I'm like, y'all are automatically forgiving her, and she still didn't apologize to her daughter.
Well, this is my perspective as like a non-Christian who's watching a scene that delves heavily with Christianity. I've actually seen this a lot within the Christian faith. I'm not saying it's everyone or all of it, but it's like people can know, because there was a pastor that had a relationship with a girl when she was 14 all the way up to she was 18.
Oh.
It came to light in the pulpit. The whole the congregation was like, "Oh, that's wrong." Da da da. And then this motherfucker was like, "I know I did wrong. I know it was wrong. I repented. I da da da." And then people came and prayed with them and around them. I'm like, that's a crime.
I remember
that's a literal crime. And like that's happened on other occasions outside of that. Like they come to light someone like important to the church did something absolutely terrible. People were like, but as long as it's like, well, I repented and the Lord has forgiven me.
Yeah. And also like within that scene, it really showcases like the justification that happens with, you know, aspects of Christianity and religion, because it's kind of like you said, they know that Patrice did wrong, but yet they are so quick to forgive her, because I think in the mind it's like, yeah, she may have did what she did, but she's the mother. And you know, it's one of those things like she must have had a reason to do what she did because she's the mother. And you know, mothers, for all that they do, you know, it's like there is no wrongdoing. There is no wrongdoing, even though she did was wrong. And I remember when I watched that episode right before when they did have that fight, I was like, you know, I am not one to you know, promote abuse against women, especially mothers. I mean, like, especially because I'm a mom's man and everything. But I was like, she needs her ass whooped.
Yes, like absolutely adore my mom. Me and my mom talk on the phone all the time. Me and her joke, kiki, but I'm like, my mama, thank God, would never do the thing. I'm like, Patrice needs her ass dragged across the asphalt and stomped and bathed in the butter.
Because for me to be a person who, you know, formerly nonviolent, and just to experience like that emotional impact of that, like, you stole my motherfucking dream.
Yes, that she worked so hard for to get her child.
And what was the worst part about that situation is that it so didn't need to happen. Like honestly, because Mercedes always had this dream of opening her own place. Like, you think that honestly she wouldn't have given you the space, like, to use the space if you wanted it? You know, but you just want to take from her and steal from her. Like, what?
It was like she could have used the space as her church on the weekends, like Sunday, when she mainly needed it.
Exactly. And it hurt me to the core when Mercedes came back and she was seeking
she was on the curve.
Yeah, when she was on that curve and her mother just looked at her like she was nothing. And I was like, and you're supposed to be the godly woman here, and you don't even accept the forgiveness of your daughter after you did her so fucking wrong?
But that's the nature of how, like, that indoctrination happens. Like, it's to make you, like, anything that falls out of the faith or, you know, the following, should we say, it's like, even when you are done wrong, you are still supposed to, forgive, but it's almost like a kind of coercion and manipulation that happens where you're the one that's actually apologizing when you're the one that's done wrong.
Yeah, because I just witnessing the Christian faith, like, if you don't forgive, you're a terrible creature. Like, meanwhile, like, I am Jewish. In Judaism, forgiveness is given only after that person apologizes to that person that they wronged. Because it's between no one else but that person and the person that they wronged. We even have a whole holiday dedicated to it as well, just in case you can't do it right away. We have a holiday, it's our day where we will just talk to that person like, hey, I'm sorry for what I did. I know I did you wrong. I hope you can forgive me. Then it's up to that person if they want to forgive them. And then after that, you you're actually supposed to send a gift as a way to ask for forgiveness. But it's just, I get so confused, like, because people like they put Christianity into a lot of things. So when I watch a lot of these, especially Tyler Perry, I see it a lot in the Tyler Perry plays where he pushes forgiveness, and very rarely is there an apology. I'm like, you can't ask forgiveness and not apologize for what you did. Because at this point, why am I forgiving you? You haven't even shown that you were sorry for what you did.
Exactly. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a whole episode about Tyler.
But really, though, we like
we might have a real whole episode.
Because some of those, I'm like, okay, some points he makes, I'm like, okay, that's fair facts. And others, I'm like,
no.
I'm not sure what you're talking about here, buddy boy. I can't get on board with this.
Like, honestly,
like with Diary of a Mad Black Woman, she went into play.
Oh yes.
When she went back to that no good, dirty bastard.
Girl,
I would have went on that trip with Lightbright and been happy.
If I was subconscious, I was like, girl, you got new dick outside. The fuck you doing?
For probably more money.
Right.
Girl, like this man has a whole ass business.
This is old, done, dealt with, move on.
Like this man, he was not pleasing you. You said that to your damn mama that he was not dicking you down the way that you needed to be dicked down, and you have the opportunity for some new dick with more money, with more aspiration, and more dedication to you, and fulfillment of all your fucking needs, and you go back to this nigga? Oh my god! Now I'm impressed.
We're gonna be here all day. Let's get back to the valley and the special times that this show has given us.
We're not going down Tyler Perry.
Because we can make an episode of Tyler Perry. We can bring the whole congregation if we need to. I'm like, let's.
Girl, no. This Taylor Port is telling me don't go down Tyler Perry because I'm not going to be. No.
We'll be here all week.
We're gonna be fighting.
Yeah, we really gonna have some rile up emotions.
Now, so. This is a moment from season 2, and I love the aspect when Maine, you know, the dude, buff ass dude, the
guy that got them the fake IDs in season 1.
Him, yeah, Maine and Mercedes was in the room together, and he wanted to be sexual with her, and she was just like, "Hey, this is not what I'm looking for right now." I'm like, all throughout the fucking show, I'm like, I want them to have sex because I feel like the sex between those two would just be so passionate. And then that was the time that he decided to do that, and I was like, man, not in this moment. I could tell that she's not trying to hook up with anybody. And I love the fact that she vocalized no, and he even respected that. And I love that so much because that's something that is not shown enough when people respect the no. And just, you know, it was all still good. He didn't treat her badly. He didn't lash out. He was just like, hey, I get it.
But that's also a credit to his character, and I'm so glad that they wrote the scene like that, because you ever notice how, like, especially, and I think I think about this too much, obviously being a writer myself, is like when writers sometimes they'll write things that are so out of pocket for a character. And it's like, as you going like, what the fuck? Like, how did that happen? And Maine has always come across like the one thing about Mercedes, he always has respected her. And like, even from the nature of when the season finale, like when she had that initial confrontation, I think, with one dude who like had almost dropped the money at her, and you know, he immediately said like, pick it up and give it to her. And you know, he's always in defense of her, and that always comes out of a respect that he has for her. So even though, yeah, she's a beautiful bomb ass woman, he wants to obviously have sex with her, of course. Like you say, in that moment, that's not what she was needing. That's not what she was wanting. And yeah, I thought, yeah, it was a little bit ill-advised time. Like, we could have like did this another time. But the fact that he shot it, you know, he took his shot. She didn't reciprocate. But the fact that we had a consensual moment to happen at that time where she said no, and he was fine with that. You know? And I think that for him, that's in line with his character for everything that he's shown. So it would have been like to write it where, like, you know how it is, where he could have called all sorts of names, told her to get out, or, you know, something like that. I just really felt like that wouldn't have been like in his character for how he's been represented to her.
Right. And I like that even when it comes to how, like, P-Valley, in my opinion, changes the narrative on a lot of things that we're accustomed to when it comes to sexuality, because even when it came to the sex scene between Murder and Teak, he purposely brought out that condom. He even had the conversation with Uncle Clifford about, okay, have you been having sex unprotected? Because when I'm out here in these streets, I've been using condoms. I want to know what's going. Like, they actually had a conversation about the use of protection. You don't see that often in other genres. Like, you don't. Well, TV shows, you just see, oh, we're about to hook up, we're about to fuck, and we're just going to like get it on. Like, we recently found out that old girl is pregnant because she just, you know, out here having sex with what is it, Andrew, whatever his name is, the lawyer, and Andre, that name.
Andre. Yeah, and it's a thing where it's like, what's so funny about like the sex scenes of P-Valley is because a lot of them are the first time that, you know, a lot of people are seeing, you know, the, you know, a variations of human beings be sexual and intimate. It's like one of those things sometimes when I'm watching, I'm like, oh, okay, like they're going there. Okay, we're going to see a little bit of this. And then the scene just keeps going. And then it keeps going. And I feel like, oh my God, like we're getting this. Like, this is not just like a clip that infers like this is going to happen. Like you say, we see the tenderness, we see the condom being taken out, we hear the conversation. So none of these scenes that are happening where we typically would, you know, regularly see a sexual intimate moment is being cut. They're being, you know, done as fully as they can be, even for, you know, something on cable, and it's wonderful. Like it's one of them clutch a pearl moments. Like, ooh.
Like the sex scene between Clifford and Lil Murda when they're on, like they're in the kitchen having sex and the fucking phone rings. That's a real sex moment. Like, you don't know when things are going to happen. Not all sex is going to happen in a perfect moment. Sometimes you get it on, and next thing you know, a phone call comes on, and I think Lil Murda was like, I need to get my dick out. That shit made me laugh because I'm like, I could see this happening in like a real life situation. Like, you trying to, like, you know that a lot of shit is going on with you. You're using sex as either a distraction or your connection with somebody that you love, and then you know that in the back of your head, I'm caring about what's going on with my Aunt Ernestine, and you get that call. Okay, is she okay? What's going on? And you know, he stops everything because he knows he needs to answer that phone. And like the realness of that scene in itself is like something that is really lacking in a lot of sex when it comes to like generalized TV shows.
Yeah. And even in the flip of the script of how, like, I think a lot of times we think about sexual scripts or sexual roles, like, and Lil Murda has been a prime demonstration of that, where you would assume when we get the history of him and Big T's kind of history, that we know that, you know, hey, they had this, you know, history in prison, and it's kind of inferred that, yeah, they have, you know, hooked up before. But even just the nature of this, you know, it was such a pivotal scene of having, you know, two outwardly presenting masculine men to share something that was intimate. It was sweet at the same time, and it just went through all of those variations of levels. And then it kind of, and at that point, I loved how it kind of had made fans think about, like, oh, like, this is what like we know what Lil Murda does, like, in the bedroom now. And I love how in the very, like, not necessarily the next episode, but the episode after that, when him and Clifford are together, and of course, like, Lil Murda wants Clifford inside of him. It stuns fans, because what is bringing the message is that just like how you would think Lil Murda is this or Lil Murda is that, in an instant it can, you know, subvert those roles. So it's to make you say, like, yeah, I'm who I need to be in with particular people for a particular situation. Yeah, you know, that happened. So,
but Little Murda struggles with that, though, because he wants to be who he is, but in order to be successful, especially in the rap world, he has to have this overly macho, straight persona, and that's been like the biggest contention between him and Uncle Clifford, because I'm rooting for their relationship because they were just so blessed together.
I am too, yes.
Because,
but
like,
that's also, but that's also why, you know, Clifford gives Lil Murda that advice about, you know, you can't be everybody's cup of tea. Because if you do, you're not gonna have anything left for yourself. And that is, such real advice coming from Clifford himself. So, yeah.
But Little Murder, he was a little, I'm like, look at this little wannabe rapper right here. Oh, but then he just grew on me. I'm like, I just want him to be happy now.
Yes.
Because, like, don't get me wrong, Haley goes about her stuff in the wrong way.
Complete wrong way.
But she does have some decent intentions, like when she's trying to help Mississippi, Keyshawn.
Yes.
Like, don't get me wrong, at some points, I feel like I can't feel sorry for Mississippi at times, because I'm like, girl, this man is even after learning their backstory, like, their families just senseless saying deuces. Even after knowing that, it's like, girl, while I understand you have history with this man, you love him, he is not worth your safety.
True.
You have two kids that are watching this.
Yeah, and I really thought the wake up call for her, not necessarily the wake up call, but the pivotal moment that things would change is when she learns that the babies are being abused, because it's kind of like she has that she kind of has that attitude, like, do what you want to me, like, don't mess up the face, of course, but do what you want to me, but when it starts to hurt, like you're physically hurting my children, like that crosses like a line we can't come back from.
And I have to say, I love that they did that in this season, because it gives a real image on what a lot of people within abusive relationships deal with. Because those people who are, it's kind of like what we're talking about in the previous episode, when people associate love with pain and love with their abuse. That's essentially what's going on with her, because she wants to keep the thing that she's safe with, which is her boyfriend. What's his name? Derek. Yeah, Derek. Because she wants to continue with that, because she lost everything by being pregnant with him, so he became a safety net, even though she's the person who's like keeping the family afloat. But it's like he is her emotional safety net, because he was that person that stayed when the parents decided to let them go. So and because of that, she's going to always return to him, because that's her safety blanket. Because even when she showed up to her parents' house to be like, hey, I'm trying to tell you what the fuck I'm here for, but you shut me out. You won't give me the time to say exactly what I'm going through. And all she can go back to was Derek. So and with a lot of people who are going through abuse, they accept that, hey, this is what I have to deal with in order for me to feel safe, in order for me to continue to feel the love, in order for me to continue to be within a space where I know I'm trusted, or that I have the trust of you, or I have the opportunity to manipulate, because she knows Derek. She knows how to manipulate him. We saw that when she went on tour.
To get back to the club.
Exactly. So she has that familiarity. And the scariest thing is the unknown for a lot of people. But for a lot of people who've been abused, they're not going to leave that situation until it starts impacting other people, which I'm happy that they included that he abused the children, because that, like, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, she's about to get out, because I knew just from work with some people who've been in that similar situation, that once you touch my kids,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
But the thing is, like, I hate that it has to take that.
Yeah.
Because, like, Keyshawn, Mississippi, however you want to describe her, call her, she's very fortunate in having something that a lot of abuse victims do not. She has a whole ass family at the Pink who will ride and die for her. Like, they were
literally was gonna die for her. Like
is it Gidget?
Gidget, yep.
Gidget was like, she's this tiny little white girl. She was like, I'll take her and those kids back to my place. She said that with her whole chest. I'm like, she has a whole group of people at that club who will gladly take her in and her kids and keep Derek away, because I feel like most of those girls in that club could probably take Derek if they really put their minds to it. They can probably.
They definitely could.
Yeah.
And then and then Diamond low key. It's not even low key. We all knew Diamond had feelings for her.
Yeah,
but
and that's what hurt your heart the most. Like, you know, you had this man who obviously you're attracted to put his life on the line, was literally fighting.
I was still kind of hurt. They got him fired from the Dollar General though.
True that.
I would throw her ass in
I
the
was
river.
I was salty about that.
I was salty, but but then like she knows this is how Derek is, but she willingly puts herself in like a danger zone. Like when she ran off to go on tour, I'm like, girl, because like she did fall into the hype of her own self.
She did.
She fell hard and started to make some decisions that if Derek would have found out about them fully, I couldn't even guarantee the girl be still around, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like, honey, I can understand you want to get this bag, become famous, but you also got to remember who the fuck you got to go home to.
Yeah.
Like, even from the start of the relationship, the fake relationship with Lil Murda, I was just like, girl, your boyfriend's beating you up solely because you're out here stripping. And now you have the entire social media ecosphere thinking that you're in a relationship with this man, knowing that he is your baby's father and you're living with him. Now he's looking like, you know, in the mindset of masculinity and toxic masculinity at that. Now he's looking like a lesser man for those people who know the situation, and it's just like, this is a lot of shit.
Because Little Murder brought it up. He was like, are you sure about this? As he tilts her face.
Yeah.
Right.
I found it low-key like interesting how everybody knew what was going on, but I feel like they all had like this energy is like we're tired of talking to you kind of deal. That's what I got from all of them. They're like, we're just going to handle it as it comes, because like I feel like they've all had these come to Jesus meetings with her, like, girl. But now they're like, And
that's why I really liked how Haley mentioned, like, okay, well, I see you haven't used my gun yet, because it's kind of like I said what I had to say to you, and it's like, look, we gonna kill this motherfucker.
Like, what we doing, girl? I got you the pink. You stole the pink Glock. Let's not forget, you stole my gat. I had this motherfucker up here trying to kill me. I came back to my locker to grab this shit to find out your bitch ass couldn't even pull it off at your fucking husband, and now here we are. You still haven't used.
Coming when Haley first did it, she was like, you know, here's a combination, as she like, woo.
Yep.
Like,
but I did think it was like really good of Haley to give her, was it a cell phone, an unregistered cell phone, and like some other things for her and her kids to get out. All she needed was money. I'm like, girl, if you would have just told everyone else at the Pink what you had planned, they were like, let's get this money for Mississippi. They probably been turned up. Like, she about to finally leave this motherfucker.
Girl, if she would have told the people at the Pink what she was planning on doing, the kids would have already been at the fucking club. Let's be real. But like, I will say, in terms of like, I understand why everybody just normalized her abuse, because when it comes to people who are in those circumstances, there's nothing that you can say to get them out of it. They have to make that decision on their own. It's like, either you are going to be willing to beat a dead horse until the horse comes back 18 years later, or you let the horse rise like Jesus whenever they want to. So it's like, you just have to choose the battle that you want to fight.
Yep. Like, I would also like to point out something. Like, I had been waiting to see, because I was really interested to see how this scene would go down, and also I was really just kind of like disappointed, because they had been building the sexual tension between Haley and Andre for so long.
God.
And it finally happened. I was thinking like, okay, this is gonna be like fire. Like, I'm gonna feel something. I was sadly disappointed. Like, I said,
at the end, I'm like, that's right.
Exactly. They should, okay, that happened.
They
I would kick the motherfucker out of my house for that.
Like, my
get out.
My view is that they should have fucked the night when Haley really had all that shit on the masquerade. Like, they should have built that sexual tension from that moment and let it carry the fuck on, because one, bitch she was dressed to the fucking gods.
Yes.
She checked this white woman. She checked the Corbin ass. So the white establishment, and she checked fucking Andre too. She checked every motherfucker that was in this damn room. And I was like, that is a sexy ass bitch right there. And she had the control. She had the power. I would have loved for her to be like, you know what? Yeah. Now that we know what the fuck is going on with this deal, Andre, you come with me, and grab this man by his fucking belt loop and dragged him out of the fucking building and then fucked the hell out of him. I would have loved that.
Yeah. That would have been one way to end this season too.
I know, right?
That'd be one hell of a season finale. I'd be talking about that for 3 years.
Look, I'm like,
that would have been fire.
You gave me everything I needed in that moment. I appreciate it. I'll be here for the next episode, but you know what? I don't care who wins the damn elections. You did what needed to be done in this moment. Thank you.
Absolutely. But it's kind of like, as much as I love P-Valley and I love them for like the storytelling, the characters and things like that, I do wish, like, because we all know that they're going to get another season, of course. Yes. I do kind of wish, though, that they would change or alter the pacing a little bit, because I feel like a lot of the stories this season, like, they've been good, but like we've had only like one or two like consistent stories that have like been happening, and so sometimes like the episodes feel a little disjointed. Now, mind you, I don't mind like not having certain characters in certain episodes, especially like when we're getting backstories and things like that. But I feel like sometimes they're running into the aspect where they have like too many things going on, where it's like sometimes it's even hard to like talk about the episode because so many things are intersecting, where it's like, I don't mind that, but it needs a little bit more cohesion.
Yeah, I feel like they should have gave Mercedes and her daughter, when they found out that her daughter was pregnant.
Yeah,
I feel they should have gave that more of an episode to itself. Instead of that squeezing it in with another one that had another plot line in it, because that's something that should be talked about more. Because her mother was like, Mercedes was like, listen, I don't want you to do what I did. And she even told her why. And then come to find out her daughter's pregnant. I do love how she gave her daughter a choice in what she wanted to do with the baby. Like, she's like, listen, what do you want to do? You want to keep it? Do you want to go, was it Jackson?
Jackson.
I think it was Jackson. And I'm like, this should have gotten far more
screen time.
Yeah, because I'm like, that's a very important story, because a mother can, like we said earlier, you don't know what your child's going to do out there on their own.
Yeah, so definitely, because and Shane, you're so right, because they tackle, P-Valley is a show that goes there. They, they are getting to like these very important issues and really writing it really beautifully. And I, like you say, it's just like certain stories like that, I feel like should have just been fleshed out, some more. Or even just like the whole situation that happened with Mercedes and the lady who was married, and and that whole situation. It kind of seems like that was just kind of like wrapped up with this last episode. And by the way, can we talk about how beautiful Mercedes looked in that exhibition? When that exhibition was shown, ooh,
real good.
Ooh,
like, she's a beautiful woman in general, but I'm like, damn.
Her in art, like the Mercedes experience, I am here for it.
Oh, they didn't. P-Valley didn't go up and have their own little exhibit just out there, because I would gladly drive.
But it's kind of like, bringing back to my point, like, it's kind of like, I feel like that story though has like wrapped, and I would have wanted them to like explore that. I would have wanted them to explore that more, especially with Mercedes arm, with her shoulder still being, not right, and even if she gets past it, still, as she was saying to Clifford in one of the recent episodes, it's like she's like 5 years, past her prime of what she wanted to doing this. And so it would have been interesting for her to explore a different avenue of like stripping, but also using her stripping as art, like maybe like in the art world, or like something like that, like what I cannot remember her character's name, but what the lady tried to do and tried to exhibit for her. Like that would have been something to kind of like explore, I think, a little bit further. But it seems like that's just going to kind of be a story that just kind of comes to a close.
Yeah. I do. You're right. Like I do feel like they should probably like flesh it out just a little bit more. But I do feel like they're leading up to a spinoff. Probably following like Mercedes, because like she's said it. It's been said to her. She's experienced. That's probably contributed a part of her anger. Because let's be real, Mercedes has a lot of reasons, and rightfully so, to be very upset.
Oh yeah.
So it's like if they gave Mercedes her spinoff just to explore, like one, her relationship between Shell, the father of her child, and her relationship with her mother, just a little bit more, because I feel like there's a lot there.
There's a lot to unpack.
Because Mercedes brought up a lot of things her mother used to do to her. I'm like, I need to know what's going on, because it sounds like she got into it because of her mother.
And I feel like there's a lot of sexual trauma that is not necessarily talked about within the Mercedes storyline, because like you said, it's very vague about what her mom used to make her do, because she even mentioned like on that scene when she was going to when she was talking to her mom about the possibility of getting an abortion, she was like, but you're out here making me do these things for these men. Like, so it's like, even with that, I want to know exactly what that phrasing means. What were you having her? Because her mother was a waitress, and I think she was she a stripper or anything like that? Well, they indicate she was a hoe, but they don't ever talk about what kind of hoe. Like, what she just sleeping with multiple.
Because hoe is a very blanket term,
right? Like, I don't know if she's sleeping with multiple men. If she was down at the Pink too,
Like what's going on? Because I feel like there's like you said, there's a lot of trauma in general surrounding Mercedes' story, and a lot of it is surrounding her mother, and another part is her child. I'm like, I feel like we need to know how old Shell is, because she seems like she's like not much older, but like she's older. So then it leads to the question, like, how old was Terica's father, because she indicates that she got pregnant young, and she was talking to her daughter about being used by older men. I'm like, that sounds like experience.
And it was that scene in the first season when she goes off on the little girls for being on the internet, shaking their ass and shit on Snapchat, whatever it is. That's when I realized, in terms of like understanding trauma and trauma responses, that for her character itself had sexual trauma, because she's experienced having sex with older men, be it either the one dude or multiple, because she's like, y'all don't know these motherfuckers out here, like y'all over here shaking your ass and all this other stuff and whatnot. And that one young girl was like, but isn't that what you do?
It was her daughter.
Her daughter. I was like, and even when she checked them, checked her, I was like, that was actually an appropriate check. I'm not even gonna lie.
She was like, I get paid. I'm like, you damn right.
And y'all shaking it,
get some money for it, get something out of it. Damn.
Right.
Something other than a baby.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, I don't know, like I say, I love the show, love the writing, but there are certain things that I do wish like were just altered, like certain parts of Haley's storyline. I actually wish were given to Mercedes, like the whole aspect of like owning the club, or being like the manager, or something like that. I could really see that being for Mercedes, to keep her in the nature of the Pink, but also have her, because she ultimately had a good, at least a semi-good business mindset, because of the fact that she wanted to open up her own studio. So even though she may not necessarily, we don't know, being as business inclined as Haley is, it would kind of still kind of like, that way we could, like, as the seasons go on, like you say, unless they're trying to create a spinoff, with her, it's kind of like it can keep her in the realm of the Pink, but still explore like her life. Because really what I'm questioning about the show with Mercedes is like, okay, like I don't want to get into the same repetitious storylines with her, and because I love her, but I don't want to have this constant battle with her every season about, oh, is she gonna leave? Is what's gonna make her stay? Because that's the push and pull with a show like this. It's like, yeah, the pink is our place where we want to be set, but when you have characters who are so dead set on leaving, something always has to bring them back there. But then that begins to get very repetitive, because it's like, okay, like, because it's like that person who retires like 5 times. It's like, well, bitch, are you
like, I'm leaving, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
So I just hope that they don't get into that same kind of repetitive storytelling.
Like, I would love for them, like you're saying, like, give her some type of role, like have her train the new girls, like that, like she loves to dance, have her choreograph things and stuff like that. I'm like, I feel like that'll be a good thing. Like, she can manage the girls with Uncle Clifford. She'll be that other push that they'll need. Like, Uncle Clifford gives them that affection, like that tough love, like in a motherly way. Mercedes, like, bitch, either who's gonna make that money for you? Damn sure ain't gonna be the wind.
Like, I would say, in terms of Mercedes storyline, that I do hate that they play, like, she's very young, but they play so heavily on the retirement side and that fight of youth, because it's like they don't recognize the fact that, hey, one, I hate that they don't recognize, it's kind of that play on, the older generation's here, but you not respecting the older generation. So I like that aspect of it, but it's like they also play the thing of the older generation is still trying to go out on their last hurrah, when Mercedes is not necessarily doing that. She's really out here just trying to, well, from my perspective, she's just out here trying to do what's best for the pink, know that her worth, and she knows what she brings to the table. And the only issue is that it's never being respected.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And they don't play on that often. They don't even play on that at all, in my opinion, but they do play on the I'm too old for this, I'm already aged out, so I'm trying to retire, and I'm here for necessity purposes only. Because it's like she had this whole ass thing going on with Coach and Coach's wife Farrah. All that shit is going well, going good. They could have easily wrote in a situation where she just started something else to continue to, like, fund this building that she's taking care of.
I can't remember if she still has that $10K that she got from season 1.
Exactly, yeah. So that's the thing. Like, they will drop certain things, and it's kind of like, well, wait a minute, what happened to that?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because I know, like, it said that Haley took $250,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, does that include all the stuff she got for Mercedes? I thought she gave that to Mercedes flat out.
She did.
Yeah, so I'm like, so did she just take that back at some point?
Now they did show her in her new business. They did show her in there, and I'm like, okay, so she put a down payment on this. I don't know if it was the $10K or if it was the extra $20K the extra $10K that she got as a down payment from Coach, and then she got it. But at the end of the day, she still got more money from her interaction with Coach. So it's like, what happened to that? Why is there still a survival mentality or a survival thing in terms of building up her?
Well, I think though with Mercedes, because she had to always fend for herself,
Right.
because that's hard to, like, break a person up. But I hate that it's a classic trope, but she's always she couldn't depend on her own mother, like.
Right. And even just for, like, the evolution of her, because even as the show was first introduced, it's kind of like, Mercedes is just majestic. Like, she's the one that draws everybody into the Mercedes experience. So I could have even seen, like, the situation, like, with Coach and Farrah, like, spin off into, like, maybe she becomes like a private or exclusive dancer, because she now does have that kind of notoriety. In her. And I would love to just make mention of a character that I did not like at the beginning of the season, but has quickly grown on me. I love me some Miss Roulette right now, because Miss Roulette is a whole pimp out here.
She is a pimp. I am not. I'm a fan of Whisper, but
I
not
do love
necessarily. Because I was actually about to bring her and Diamond back up, but Roulette, I love her as a person. I love her as a character, but I do not love her as
she's unhinged.
Yeah, she's extremely.
She's unhinged and she's dangerous. So yeah, I do agree with you. I love like the essence of her, but she is gonna get somebody. She's gonna get somebody killed.
She really is. And like Toy, she's also one of my celebrity crushes because even though bitch is gassy, bitch is shitty, and bitch is like forever sick, I love her. I love her personality, and she's so adorable. She's fine too. But like,
let's be real, most of the bitches in that show is fine as hell.
Look, the entire cast is fine as hell.
Even Slaytor baby Gidget.
Right.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say this out here. Sometimes I don't know what the fuck that bitch is in the show.
Who Gidget?
Yes. Like, still even like, I love her character. She's precious, but sometimes she's just there.
She had no place in that scene with Tick because I was like, girl, this is not the place for you to try to like, this man he just got out, bitch. Shut the fuck up. He obviously have issues with white people. He made that clear. Bitch, shut the fuck up. If he chokes you, I was
like, sometimes your mouth can just get you into so much trouble. Like,
I'm like, girl,
like,
this is not
gonna be in the back of her throat if she was not careful. I'm like, Gidget, you're precious. I love you. You've grown on me, but girl, this is not the place for you.
So you have to choose the right battles. Like, I
understand. My ass would have done. I walked outside that door like. He looked mad. Girl. You like he just got out. Let me go ahead and go right back to where I was.
Look, I would have been like, hey, Keyshawn, I don't know this motherfucker here, but let's go ahead and go outside because I want to defend you, girl. But this is the best. This is the best I could do. We need to go outside. The best defense is a retreat, right? Because she was trying to get punched in the throat.
I love Gidget. She's a ride and die bitch through and through. But sometimes I'm like, Gidget, girl, this is not the place for you, baby girl. You need to be somewhere nice, looking on my like a margarita, just sit back and relax. Like, go sit down somewhere, please.
I would have if I was Gidget. This is a Rome problem, not a my problem. Mercedes, girl, let's go ahead. I was not invited into this conversation. I'm good.
Yeah,
but even adore her character with her pretty ass legs. That's what they always say.
Yeah. But Berna, I was just really agreeing with you. Like, the thing about I think what I really like about Roulette as a just as a character is that complexity that she has, because we've seen her be very vulnerable with the guy that kind of like had her up against the wall. Like, we've seen like her like very vulnerable moments, and obviously we saw by that hotel room scene why she's called Roulette.
Bruh, that scene.
So it's like she is the type of character where she's dangerous, she's unhinged, but she knows how to take that power. She knows who she wants to be vulnerable with. And that is what ultimately makes it so like I'm so scared for Whisper, and I'm so scared for Toy, because they are not women who are accustomed to that. So they don't know those P's and those those P's and those Q's. And when you live a life like that, like you gotta be on top of your game. So that's what my only fear is. It's not because of who Roulette is. It's because she doesn't really care about the fallout.
Facts.
What happens. So it's kind of like, yeah, she's gonna get to a point where she just is gonna get somebody killed.
She really, like, if she thought through a lot of her actions, that's the thing that will really bring me into her side.
Yeah,
it's just I don't want her to be the cause of other people's trauma or their downfall, because she's not trying to like factor in what her actions and will lead up to, because she's putting the pink into danger because of her actions, knowing the rules, and then she's bringing Whisper into the situation, and now she's bringing Toy into this situation. It's just like
Roulette crossed me as a person who acts first and thinks later.
True.
Exactly.
And that can be fun, like outside of the work situation, but it can be also very dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
It's
and
like,
when you
we could die, but where's the adventure in that? Hold up, bitch.
Right. Don't nobody want that. Right.
Now, one thing I want to bring up, because I love that they like decided to dig deep into like spirituality this season, in terms of like voodoo, or even just the third eye, because Whisper is a third eye character. We have to claim it what it is. And then you have the Reiki with Diamond, as well as his voodoo practices, and I love that they brought that into the season. I also hate it because it's like, I did not know the P Valley is going to be like a horror series now. I did not know that this is going to be something that I'm going to be scared to watch, because I don't know when this motherfucker is going to come out the ground the next time in a pool of fucking water trying to reach out for the motherfucker. I don't want to see that again. That shit was scary. I also loved it. But I love how they brought that into the season at the same time, because it touched based on episode 3 of Lovecraft Country. And I have to say that because that episode 3 of Lovecraft Country was like some other shit, and I loved it because it was like, oh, we got black spirituality because it's a black motherfucking show. Boom. And now we have P Valley, and they're just like, hey, voodoo, hoodoo, all of that is something that is present within aspects of the black community here in America, as well as where he's from, which is Louisiana. So he has those practices already. And then you have this additional character who has third eye fully awakened, and she's like, oh girl, I hope you're ready for twins. Like, bitch, you.
And I love the fact that, you know, Katori and the writers were just like, I love how they were just so unapologetic when, like, you know, of course, like the backlash and things like that started because of showing those things. And it's like, one, you have to realize where this show is taking place, or the fictional town of where this show taking place. Like deep in the South, like that is Mississippi, Louisiana territory. Like that's what, you know, is known for those spiritual practices. 2, it's done in a way that is not whitewashed. You know, as to say, so it's kind of like, yeah, I get some of, you know, the reservations, especially if you're not obviously accustomed to watching, you know, certain things. So it's kind of like certain people, and like I remember reading in the comments, they were like, yeah, I the whole thing that happened with, you know, Haley, Mercedes, and Clifford shooting, what's his name in the back room. It's like there are hints,
something like that.
Montavious, right? There have been hints to the fact like his spirit is still haunting, you know, that room. And so I think it's good to play on, but I think like for a good majority fan base, it's something that I don't think that they want to like play on for too long, because it gets you in, like it gets like under your skin, you know, for some reason. And I'm not saying that for me personally, but you know, I can, like, that's what a lot of fans are saying when it comes to like things like that.
I really appreciated those scenes because I did spend a good part of my childhood in Louisiana. Like I grew up I will fuck up some Cajun food in a heartbeat. Yeah. But I'm used to the voodoo and the stuff like that because it's very common. It's literally part of common life. We just know to respect it.
Exactly.
It's like, because most of the time they will not bother you if you are respectful. It's the same thing with anything. But mainly it's about being calm and grateful to the spirits.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when they were like doing the cleanse for COVID regulations and whatnot, I'm like, so are we going to have somebody come up in here and sage this motherfucker? Like, what are we doing? Like when Diamond went into that fucking room and got into the puddle, I'm like, motherfucker, you understand what happened there. You understand what needs to be done within that room. Why are you not doing it to cleanse the fucking energy? Like you already have the negative energy protected within the ring on the altar and all of that to keep that for safety purposes, but you still have not cleansed the impact point, the moment where his spirit left. Why are we not doing that? Like, when that episode happened, I'm like, okay, is he going to cleanse it now? Like, when is this going to happen? When are we going to get to the point where we are actually going to exercise the negative energy that exists in this fucking room? But I also did not like that they, like, when it came to like the cameras, his spirit showing up like in the background somewhere. I'm like, is this a horror show now, or is this something else? Like, what are we doing? Like, are we sticking to the P Valley storyline and just incorporating the spirituality, or are we just making this horror?
Yeah, and that's my thing. It's kind of like, that's where I go back to the point of them having like too many stop and start storylines. Yeah. It's kind of like, if they wanted to do something with Montavious' spirit, like haunting the place, I'd rather them do it in 1 or 2 episodes and just conclude it. Instead of having it linger, or if they want to do, because like you say, like those like horror elements, which are really more so spiritual, it's like, yeah, like those elements really do exist. So it's like, if we're gonna do it, let's do it, and let's give it an actual story instead of having it in stop and start parts, because then it starts to be kind of like choppy. And as far as like, and then it really won't be as good of storytelling, because it's like, okay, well, this amount of time has passed, and like, okay, now we're just getting to this, or so it really wouldn't make sense, like timeline or narrative wise. But if we want to tackle it, let's tackle it.
Like, I would have rather them connected to like his spirit being part of Haley's guilty conscience or something.
Yeah,
exactly.
That would have made a lot more sense, because some people do have that manifestation of that person, even though that person caused them grievous harm. Is like, I killed this person.
Yeah, and one of my favorite TV shows, a main character said that the first time you kill somebody, it changes you forever. Like, you can't, no matter how evil this person may be, like that shit, like killing somebody is not as simple as it may be made out to be. Like that's gonna haunt you forever.
Now, even with like the 7 pounds aspect, because it's like with the earlier episode, we find out like Diamond brings the weight out of Mercedes. He weighs it and then lets it go. At that point, I'm like, it should be gone. And then you have that wonderful scene when she, the Mercedes experience, where those photos came from, where, the shit got real with Farrah. And I was like, yes, bitch. All of that happened.
I would buy one if they published it.
Look, like when they have their first encounter and whatnot, she's doing these moves and she's great. And then we find out in like the most recent episode 9, where she's like, oh yeah, I had to shift my weight and use my weaker arm to, do a lot more things and, give you that experience. And Farrah was just like, girl, if that was your weaker arm, I don't want to take a hit from you. But like, when we get to,
but they just undermined all of that.
Right. Like, that would have been a very strong thing to narrow down, because it's like, hey, she's making herself stronger by working on her weaknesses, and like just leave the 7 pounds thing beyond.
Yeah.
Leave that behind and not go back to it, because we're done with that era with Mercedes, because the weight was lifted when Diamond did what he needed to do, rather than making it seem as though, oh, this is still impacting her career going forward. Like, that would have been so much different if she was just like, you know what, like when she was on the pole and having her issues, she's like, you know what, I'm really actually done with this. I don't want to do this last show with you all. Y'all don't need me anymore. Y'all got Mississippi here. Y'all got these new girls. I was supposed to retire a long time ago, and I'm going to just walk out and be happy and find something
Mississippi's
new.
not there for long, though. That's the thing.
True. Like, but that would have been like a different kind of story versus, oh, I'm still fighting to make my name known because I'm the
everybody knows Mercedes.
Right. Yeah. But like, it's just, there's so many differences that they could have made within like the storytelling aspect, most definitely when it pertains to that spiritual side, as well as like the result that you want to see near the end of the series. season.
And even take like a main character like Haley, for instance. It's kind of like after 2 seasons, it's like I really still don't know what really to make of Haley. Like she's still like one of these characters that's really like a mystery to me, because it's like in moments I like her, in other moments I don't. I'm rooting for her in some moments, and other times I just want to slap her. It's like, it's a real whiplash experience that I experience with the character of Haley. And it's not the fact that I don't think that like characters like that aren't interesting, but it's kind of like I really want to get to the core of this time where she did run away, and get more so into her, which is something that they may be on the way of doing. But it's kind of like with her having this very savvy business mindset, and that's why like in her, it's all about her delivery when she's talking to Clifford and Mercedes, because it's like the things that she's saying, it's not like they're not true, but she forgets about the fact that this is a family, and a family you recently came into, and now that you are technically the owner of. So it's kind of like the things that she says about the fact that, well, Mercedes, we can't take the risk of you being on top and falling. I mean, like, that's a real, like, legitimate concern, just like what ended up happening. So the things that she talks about from a business aspect, I'm like, yeah, Haley, I see what you're talking about, but you got to have a real better delivery with it.
Yes, like I said, like, she has good intentions. It's her approach.
Yeah.
It's like, because some of the things I'm like, okay, she's not wrong, but it's the way she worded it. Like you just said, like Mercedes falling, that's a legit concern. Mercedes could have easily died.
Right. And what especially made me upset over this last episode was she still does not want to. I think it's one of those things where Mercedes really just wants her to acknowledge and tell her she thanks her tremendously for what she did, because Haley has this whole attitude where it's like, yeah, it happened, let's move on. And I mean, this woman's like show is like legit messed up over something that was your situation and you caused.
Facts. And I my thing is,
because Mercedes could easily let her stay there and get toned up.
Like I hate that. In terms of like the difference between season 1 and season 2, season 1 was like focused on making Haley like the main character in a sense. Like you understand her as a victim, her as a survivor, and all this other stuff. And then we get into season 2. Now she's the ultimate villain. And I also think that in a sense of like writing and storytelling, and her being the villain, they're playing heavily on that closeness to whiteness kind of thing, and colorism, because it's like everything that she's like, what Haley, like you said, Haley, what she says is not necessarily bad things, because it's like the reality of everything. Like we can, I see the worth in this. We can actually make the money of it, and we can still prosper. And like Uncle Clifford, I understand your family has some times, but motherfucker, I'm trying to get you these fucking reparations. Like I get that aspect of everything, but it's like it's like so heavily focused on making the light-skinned person the villain within this season, that Haley removes herself from the plight and the struggle of those people that she was struggling with.
Because she was struggling with them last year.
Exactly. And I feel like they should have kept that mentality of she knows that she was struggling, because she even came up into this, like, not necessarily that this is going to be a long-term thing, but when she purchased
gave her a chance.
Right. When she purchased the pink, it was, for myself, I got the feeling she did that out of respect of what she had experienced with them in a loving kind of situation, rather than
they
like
came
a
to her rescue
business thing.
Oh, Clifford was like, oh hell no! He looked in that box of guns.
Exactly, and
he like took his pretty ass on over there.
And like they really could have continued to play on that aspect of showing the respect and appreciation for what the Pink did for her, but the writers chose to like, let's go ahead and make her the villain, because in multiple episodes you get that colorism aspect of things. The Light Bright is doing this, you know, these light skins and all that. Like, yeah, there's a place for colorism that time, but I have to admit, because you know sometimes you just don't understand. But at the same time, it does not take away from what, you know, we share as Black people.
Right. And even like the same trope, I feel like kind of is, I'm hoping that they don't go down the road of is because as much as I love Clifford and Lil Murda, I don't want to keep rehashing this whole thing about, you know, Clifford has made it very known about the fact that Clifford is not going to be anybody's secret. And the fact that Lil Murda has this career, has this image, you know, that he has to maintain for his music and his business, that's always just going to be a point of conjecture for them. So it's kind of like, certain of these stories it's just, I wish that, I don't think that all stories need to be wrapped up in, you know, an episode or a season even, but I just need the story to go into different beats. You know, to have a situation where Clifford and Murda's like public and private relationship is tested in some sort of way, and see how they can either rise above it or will it be the beat of them. But and so it's like, as much as I love the conversations and I love the dialogue that happens, one thing that gets me about shows though, as far as storytelling, is I don't want to keep rehashing the same beat all over again. Like, let the story move into new dynamics. So as much as I love the both of them, I am really concerned about the fact that both of them have made their positions really clear. Now, if they just want to, you know, have like what they have in now, hey, I say what I say, you say what you say, and we just come together and we just, you know, get it on, then, you know, let that be that. But at some point, I think because of what they both mean to each other, that's obviously not all that's what's gonna happen. So I am just hoping as we end this season and we move into a new season whenever they come back, that we just continue to evolve the stories and not rehash the same beats over and over.
Because like, even when it comes to the concept of selling the Pink, Uncle Clifford is okay with selling the Pink. Like, he mentioned that with Haley. Like, he was like, hey, if you can get that $10 million and I get my 2.5, life is good. I appreciate it. I'm here for it. But it's like, they still have that, they write that mentality that he's against it throughout the season, because it's like, we've already learned early on that he's cool with it as long as that we get the right price. The people don't go away, we can start it up anew somewhere else. That is still perfectly fine. Yeah,
because what I picked up from Clifford, the Pink right now is just a place. Like, the building is just a place. The Pink is a mindset. It's a family. You can't take that. A building can burn down and be replaced. You can't replace the people.
Right.
And that's why I get what Uncle Clifford's standpoint is like, if we got to sell this building, so be it. We can open another one somewhere else with better parking.
Right. So, all right.
Because every time I see them, I'm like, damn, this parking lot is rough over here.
Yep.
So, since the episode has to end soon, I want to ask this question. What is, if you were like the mayor of Chucalissa, what would you do in terms like moving forward with the casino or not going with the casino? Who are you as mayor of Chucalissa? So let's start off with, since, you know, ladies always get the first go. I'm sorry, Shane. I'm going to go with Tyrell.
Yeah, I have no problem with the go. I have no problem with the go on, boo-boo.
I think for me, I think I would try to find a good balance of both, because we all know that casinos are a mind gold of a business, and we know that a lot of times major casinos, they thrive in smaller towns and locations because that's what attracts people to that segment. So I don't see why we couldn't have like, because like for me, for instance, and I'm just going to sum this up real quickly because I want to hear Shay's opinion. I've always, one of the reasons why I've always wanted to visit Las Vegas, which I still have yet to go, is because I want to go see a burlesque show. It's not really to gamble, but I've always wanted to see a burlesque show. But I feel like I would try to combine the ideas a little bit. Like, do you know how much money people would pay to come to the casino, and get the pink experience? Mm-hmm. Like, so for me, I would have the pink inside of the casino. Like, do you know what kind of gold mine that would be? That's my thing.
I'm not gonna lie, I was on the same board putting the pink inside the casino, or just make an entertainment district. In general.
Yes.
It's like we can have the casino here, then like further up the street or whatever, we have like the pink and some other things, but put the pink in a bigger building, make it 2-story. I'm like, listen, we're gonna make this entertainment district, we're gonna make it right. It's gonna be nice, bright. Then we have a nice ass sign. It's gonna be pink, of course. The pink. Like, I'm gonna make it 2 stories. Make sure it has a nice office with working air conditioning, a proper kitchen.
Yep.
Like, if we're gonna do, like I said, we're gonna combine it because the pink is a part of town.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's part of their history, so we need it there.
Yep. And at the end of the day, regardless if you love the strip life, if you demean the strip life, it's like at the end of the day, everybody always want to see the color of one thing, and that's green.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's that
like
paper.
Whatever gets us all paid, I'm here for.
And we're going to use that green from the entertainment district to uplift the other communities. Like, we're going to dig some good schools. We're going to do everything. Not private schools. I want to ban private schools.
I'm with you on that. Yes.
Because a lot of cities like to give all their funding to private schools and leave the public schools in the dust. Yeah. I'm like, I'm sorry. If you want a private school, get to help my city. We're going to have nothing but regular schools here, charter schools and all like that. What's good?
Like,
I dare you to come to my office and fight me because I will take off my shoes. Like, let's go. Meet you outside the grass. Don't make me break my feeling.
Got to touch the grass. Like, for me, I feel like I would go for community support first and have the community build the casino in terms of like, hey, we got this going on. We're going to sell these lands and everything, whatever, and get that in the like connection to like the random ass rich ass white man who's trying to build this and make profit off of it. Because I want the profit to be within the community of Chucalissa and not this private owner who's not going to really be living here. So like have that community support and just be like, hey, we're going to include the pink, so that we have our dancers. We can even have a late night show where we got the nudity going on. We have, since they're going to displace like a barbershop and let's say a salon in that too, make sure that those people who are going to be displaced are going to be the primary people that we're contracting with to make sure that our dancers are looking on fleek. That way we have that going on. And then we build this casino up in these locations. And guess what? The funds that's going from this casino is going back into the community to make sure that we are all sustainable in that way. That's mayor. That's like, that is what I see with mayor.
I just love as a collective, all three of us have like the same idea essentially.
Exactly.
Like we understand that this casino is going to bring in money. And when what do drunk people like to see more than anything? Titties and ass within distance.
And it's one of those things like you would think like if more people had the mindset of how can we work together, even if it is just for the money, it's kind of like set your ego aside.
That's the hardest part.
And that's the hardest part. Most people, they can't do that. And that's why a lot of times, like when you're trying to revitalize a district or, like the, trying to figure out, do you want to keep these businesses and not like when you're talking about, especially Black owned businesses, a lot of times those who are not of our skin color, they do not understand the historical heritage that is set. And there is a reason why these places have stood the test of time, because they're not only they're not only for financial gain. Most of the time, they're making very little off their finances. But this is a part of history. This is family legacy that is passed down. So if you could take that and use that in a productive way that gets along with the nature of what's coming in our pocket, you would have a gold mine.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing, like when you think about, capitalism and whatnot, is like you're enriching one person's pocket and rather than everyone's pocket. And to bring outside business into your community, you want what's best for that community, that the community is being enriched rather than just that one person. And I love, in terms of like Andre, like he was so heavy on pushing like the leasing option, which I hate that the whiter cows were not trying to go off of that, because they're just like, I'm just trying to get that money quick, rather than, hey, we can get $10 million. Like we can get all
it's like, you want this money quick, but I'm trying to set you up for something that can be sustainable to you.
And you get more out of that because you are doing this long term rather than a one-time deal. And I think when you get into like community growth, community development, community sustainability, you have to think of, okay, we're going to invest in this thing to bring more to us as a whole, rather than fill the pockets of this one individual because they decided to be the primary financial backer of this one issue. So word on the street is that we need to go ahead and like get into this election cycle while everybody's voting right now in Chucalissa, Mississippi, and see if we can go ahead and get this going on. Vote Tyrell, vote Shane, vote Vern.
The mayors of the future. We got you.
Exactly. We got you. We gonna hold it down.
Hell yeah, we gonna have the best strip club in America.
Look. Oh God! Oh, y'all, don't get me one to run for office, because I would definitely have a tax-funded strip club. Oh God!
Hey,
look, they gotta pay taxes anyway, so you might as well.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
Oh, on that note, thank you so much, Shane and Taco, for coming up to us.
We're gonna be the best mayors ever. We're gonna have our pretty ass pictures on that wall. Like, what's good?
Look,
hello.
I think this is the best way to literally end Heauxvember. Is like, look, we running for mayors now.
Oh yeah, we gonna hold it down out here. We gonna have some good ass wings.
Ain't it?
Yes.
So, thank y'all so much for coming on to the podcast.
It was a pleasure.
Always.
I love y'all so much. For the listeners, just to let y'all know, the podcast is going to be on break until March. Y'all motherfuckers better, if you're new to the podcast, rewatch some, listen to all the old episodes. Look, I've had too much drink at this point. The wine is hitting. I'm good though. So whatever. I don't know what my words are saying. So go back, listen to fucking episodes, catch on up, and get ready for whatever March brings to us. Season 2 is coming. I don't know the first Wednesday in March, so I'm not going to lie to y'all motherfuckers today. I might release something early. Who the fuck knows? I do whatever the fuck I want these days. It is what it is. Now, thank you all so much for listening to the Ho'Liloquy podcast, where we step out and speak on sexuality, just in case no one else told you this today. And please let it last for this break. You are beautiful. You are worthy of happiness and joy. You are enough and then some. You may not live up to the expectations of others, but that is okay.
That's the problem.
Ain't it? You are only required to walk in your own shoes. May each day you live lead you towards abundance. With that said, love you all and see you next episode. Bye.
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 Thank you for listening to the Ho'Liloquy podcast, where we step out and speak on sexuality. You can subscribe to the podcast through your favorite podcasting app and find us on the web at www.ho'liloquy.com. That's www.heauxliloquy.com. Share the podcast with your friends and join the conversation.